Martin Lewis is one of the BBC's financial whiz kids, and he's got an interesting background with education in the LSE and uh, yeah, but sort of pointing out things which are right and things which are wrong, and I like him for that. And the other day he complained about what he called the degrading train conditions, and he says this is effectively so many people feel effectively disenfranchised from rail travel. It's absolutely true. Rail travel is an absolute and utter misery at the moment. I've called it out a few times. In fact, only my last two journeys, both of which were deplorably unpleasant, one of which was dreadfully delayed. I'm supposed to be able to collect some sort of refund on that, but I don't know who to talk to. I did try talking to the train line. They said, no, not us, Gov. And you just think, what is the point of any of this appalling service if it's not functioning? And the second journey I had the other day from Exeter up to Rugby, up to Birmingham, was on a train which was so unbelievably overcrowded. We had to hobble over bodies on the floor in order to get to the exit. And I was helping a person who was blind and had been sat next to me. I was sort of crushed into my seat. I'd asked for a seat with a table, and I was in one of those ordinary seats with a little sort of drop down shelf, and it's not big enough to actually put a laptop on and do any work. It's a pointless indulgence on the part of the railways to cram in as many people as they can, and to pay absolutely no attention to the booking arrangements. So on the train up, I'd booked a seat, and when I went to the seat, somebody else was in it. This isn't the first time this has happened, by the way. Somebody else was in it, and when I sort of rather coyly asked them if they'd made a mistake, they showed me their booking receipt, which I hadn't asked to see, and I was rather ashamed that they showed it to me actually. And there it was in black and white, exactly the same as mine. A seat, and the trainer says, "Oh, this is a train that you have to book a seat on." You think, okay, I booked my seat, but they booked a seat on somebody else's for somebody else as well, because the system isn't coordinated. Um, and Lewis was on a train, on an East Midlands train. I'm sorry about that. And he complained on Twitter to describe the conditions from London to Sheffield on Monday afternoon. And he said all the seats and standing spaces were taken, and there was only one working loo. And East Midlands Railway said network upgrades had led to extra passengers. Well, then you put on an extra train, plonkers. And it's simply wrong. You can't be charging the same amount of money to passengers who don't even have a seat. And it's not as if this is a one-off. This is routine. This is routine because the entire system is collapsing. Every seat taken, every standing space taken, scores sitting in mid-train corridors. So I guess 500 people on it and only one working toilet at one end. So people must crawl over each other, hundreds to reach it. It's degrading, he said, like something from the 19th century. And that's the interesting comment, like something from the 19th century. And now he's apologized and said, I'm so sorry for describing the service as 19th century. And he said, back in the 19th century, trains were efficient, on time, and luxury, as indeed they were.